welcome to a new episode of the Cozy Cardigans podcast. My name is Melanie and I'm the owner and dyer for Big Little Yarn Co., which is a hand-dyed yarn shop, and you can find me on Instagram at Big Little Yarn Co., and you can find me on Ravelry as Cozy Cardigans. I also have a website, newsletter, links down below. So welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you're not new. Today is the 11th of February, and if you are new and you're not familiar, I do things a little bit differently. I check in throughout the week and just update you whenever my heart desires, I guess, because I don't know, I like it better than just sitting down and talking for an hour. So I hope that's okay. Since this is my first little intro / check-in for this episode, I thought I would gather all my projects that I'm currently working on, all my whips, and show you where they are at, so that there's kind of like a little baseline of, I don't know, what am I trying to say? That there's like a baseline so that when you see the project grow throughout the week, you'll be able to kind of place it, I think. I feel like that would be helpful. So yeah, yesterday, or for the past couple days, I had days off because Tim's off on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and we were off yesterday because we went to our favorite flea market in Kyoto. And and if you're new, sorry, I live in Japan. I live in Hyogo, Japan with my husband Tim, and we're also expecting a baby in April. But anyways, yeah, since we're expecting the baby in April, this flea market happens only once a month, and so I don't think I'll be able to go to it in March just because it's really tiring to have to walk around all day. So we went one last time yesterday, so that was really fun. So I'm pretty sure I put some clips of it in the video before I started talking, so you should have seen that. And then I got some fabric from there. There's some vendors that sell some vintage Japanese fabric, and also we went to like a shotengai. Is like it's not like a mall, it's like an outdoor mall. Not really. It's like a long road for pedestrians, and there's like stores lined up all alongside it. I don't know what that's called in English. It's called a shotengai in Japanese, but there's a famous one in Kyoto called Teramachi, and it's just like this long road, and there's a bunch of shops, and there's also a really cute fabric store there. So I went there and got some more fabric, because mostly baby fabric, so I'll show that to you as well. But let me show you my current whips. So start with the smallest whip, I guess. So you've been seeing this every now and then, but this is my sock tube. It's quite long now. So I just knit on this while I am out and I'm on the train. It's great for train knitting, because it's like this little tiny tube, and I don't have to worry about whapping people with my knitting needles. But I'm like almost there. I only have this much left. So that's going. I just knit on it when I'm out, so it's I'm quite a slow sock knitter. I don't usually knit on these at home. And this is this yarn is Tiny Human Knits in her Morgan colorway, which is a Christmas colorway, but it doesn't look like it. I really like that. To me, it's got some like summer beach vibes to it. But anyways, yeah, I ordered some more of her self-striping the other day during her shop updates. I'm really excited because this is my last self-striping I have of her, so I was really sad about it, but I was able to get some more, which is great. So yeah, I've been knitting on that, and that's living in this little project bag by Aria and Barre. It's just someone I found on Etsy a while back. So that's been going. Let's see, another knitting project is the Loimu cardigan. I'm in the middle of a row, so sorry. But let me see if I could straighten it up. So last episode I talked about how I had to redo the right front. Yeah, I had to redo the right front because the stitch pattern was 8 stitches shifted. So when I connected it to the bottom, the pattern didn't line up, but now it lines up. So I've been knitting on that, as you can see. I'm probably just gonna knit on the body for another, for the rest of the pattern repeat. And then I'm gonna put it on some spare needles and work on the sleeves because I like to work on sleeves first. So again, this is the Loimu cardigan by Ronja, and I don't know her last name, so I'll put it down below. This is a test knit for her new pattern, and I am using Mominoki German Merino. This is the colorway Ochre, and it's a DK weight, and looks really good. It has really great stitch definition, so I love how the ribbing is turning out. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to get that fixed. So I'm currently working on this the most, I want to say. Let's see. I've also been stitching on my DAA cardigan. I feel like I show this more during my December episode because I didn't have as many whips back then, but thought I'd show it to you again because I have been putting some work into it. Sorry, let me see if I could straighten this out. It's kind of hard. I'm doing the sleeves 2 at a time, so it's kind of hard to see. But you kind of see the stripes, I guess. So this is the DAA cardigan by Isabel Kraemer. I am using my advent calendar from Grenouille Co. I took out the warmer colors. I think there was like 4 mini skeins of warmer colors. I took those out so that it's all just cool tones only. So right now I am doing this is so hard to show, I'm so sorry. I'm doing the sleeves 2 at a time so that they match. And yeah, I've just been stitching on this every now and then. I'm not super in a rush because the Loimu cardigan's more of a priority because it's a test knit. But yeah, I'm still loving how it's turning out. I love the stripes so much. It's so much fun. And yeah, I just have all my minis in here. And this is living in my Shelli Can project bag. So that is that. And then, let's see. Oh, and then my Stitching by Number shawl by Stephen West. Still going. This is my every now and then kind of knit. So I talked about this last episode when I spontaneously casted it on. I had 2 cast-ons last week, which is 1 too many for me. I usually only cast on 1 thing a week, but it's been going really nicely. I've just been stitching on it when, I don't know, I have a little bit of time. It's like an easy pattern to memorize for this one, for at least this section. So let me show you what yarns I'm using so that I know I've said it. So this is my own, the main color is my own hand-dyed yarn. This is a unnamed yarn still. It looks white, looks very white on camera now that I look at it, but it's actually this very light gray. I feel like it looks more true to color when it's like knit up like this. But it's like this very light, cool gray. Yet unnamed, but I'm sure I'll put it in the shop sometime. And then the pattern calls for 5 cc's or contrast colors. So the first one is ET, which is from my Halloween collection back in 2020. And then I have some of my very, very old stash hand-dyed yarn, my own hand-dyed. This was like one of my first hand-dyed yarns. And then I have Coraline. I don't know why I said it like that, Coraline. This is another Halloween collection colorway I try to bring back every year. It's quite popular. Sorry, the skeins are so ugly. It's because I frogged another Stephen West shawl from a MCAL that he did in 2020, and I ripped it out, so it's quite ugly. So that's the third one. Fourth one is another old deep stash, my own hand dyed, from like a long time ago. I don't have a recipe for it. And then this one is Wolfsbane by Grenouille Co. This was the 100-gram skein that was included with the advent calendar that I'm using for my DAA. So let me see if I can hold them up. So these are the 5 cc's. It's kind of hard to tell how they look so far because the blocks are a bit small, but there are parts of the shawl where you'll be able to see them more, so I'm really excited for that part. But yeah, I've just been stitching away at that. Yeah, again, I'm not in a rush. I'm not the type of person to like put set deadlines for myself for my knitting, so unless it has a actual deadline like for a test knit, so I just work on whatever strikes my fancy. Oh, and I should also mention that the pattern calls for a size 3 needles, but I'm using a size 2 because I'm hoping for something a little smaller than his usual blanket sizes, because I'm quite petite and I would like it for it to be a little bit smaller. I think it'll be like 80% smaller-ish according to my swatch. I don't know if that's how you measure, like that's how, if the swatch would correlate with the actual size of the piece, but yeah, we'll see. If it's even smaller than that, I'm totally fine with it too. It's quite a large looking shawl. It's like a U shape, so it's like a shawl scarf almost, but yeah, it looks quite big, so I'm happy with it being 80% its actual size. So I have that. And then the last, no, I have two more whips. A lot of whips. So you have seen this if you've watched my December episodes, my Penguono. So yesterday I was working on this because I was really tired and I just needed something that was mindless and just like I could zone out to, and I could just do whatever I want with. So I finished the, what is this, the right front. This is so hard to show. The right front of the Penguono. So you can see, so this is like the left back here. This is the right front. Doing quite not a ton of mods, but quite a bit. First, I'm knitting it with only 2 strands of fingering instead of the 3 that he recommends. I'm also knitting it on size US 7 needles instead of the size 10, since I am using less strands, or fewer strands, I mean. And then because I want the size to be quite smaller, so I don't know if you've ever seen a penguono, but this is clearly much smaller than the usual, what it usually looks like, and I think I really like that. And if it needs to be longer on the shoulders, I could obviously, it's quite easy to modify to like make longer or shorter. For example, I added some more rows on this section and on this section here so that there's more underarm space. The back I knit to pattern, but also for the fronts, I didn't want the whole, the front has like a bit of a, what do you call it? Like it crosses over quite a bit, and I kind of want it to be more in the center. So I stopped knitting it halfway through the decreases. So I did half the amount of decreases that he calls for the front. So I'm gonna see what that looks like once I knit the left front and see how it overlaps together, because I actually might want it to be like perfectly in the center, because there is a little bit, there's like a tiny bit of overlap. Like you could see if this is the center, then there's like about an inch of overlap here, and I'm not sure if I like that or if I'm gonna rip back so that there's no overlap in the front. But yeah, I've just been having lots of fun with it. I just don't really think about it. I just change colors whenever I feel like it. So yeah, all the scraps live in this box. Let me show you. Here's my scrap box. It has hedgehog fibers. It has some of the warmer tones that I got from my Grenouille advent that I took out for my DAA cardigan. I've got some really old stash yarn that I just had. Also has some Aria yarns advent in here. Also has some random mini skeins from my own shop. So yeah, it's all like warm tones. I wanted it to be a bit cohesive so I didn't have to worry about the colors too much. This is actually my second attempt, because my first attempt I just had a rainbow of colors and I kind of just threw them all in a bag, but I was really just not stressed about it, but I wanted some more control over the colors, I guess. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's the yarn dyer in me. I just really like to control the colors when I can. So these are all like the warm tone scraps I have, and I think it's been working really well with being able to let go a little bit more and being able to trust that whatever colors I choose, it'll work, you know. So that's been going. That's the front, that's the back. Yeah, this is like a fun, if I don't want to think about anything, kind of knit. So that's been going as well. And then the last knitting whip is my frequency sweater. And sorry, I still have to change out the needle. Like, it's on really tiny cables right now. But this is the frequency sweater by Tina C. And I'm currently doing the second bit of color work right there. And yeah, this is kind of my when I'm dyeing yarn knitting, because I could just pick it up where I left off, and it's not that difficult of a color work pattern, so it's quite easy to just pick up and knit on. So I'm using, the main color is Itobito yarns in the mocha chocolate colorway on the sock base. This is Anne's, my friend Anne, made this yarn. I bought it from one of her pop-ups here in Osaka. Or I don't live in Osaka, but it's close by. And this is Aria yarns dendritic. I still don't know how to say that word. Dendritic agate. This was the 100 gram skein that came with her advent from last year. So that's been going well. And this is like a buddy knit that I'm doing with Natasha of Northern Knits and Pearls. I'm pretty sure she's ahead of me by now because she's more responsible and doesn't have like 10 million whips and also a test knit. But I'm still going. I'm still working on it, so that's fun. And I also have one quilting whip to show you. So I showed this last episode of a baby quilt I'm making for my son, who's due in April. Let me back up. Oh, it's kind of hard to show. So I still have like, I don't know how you talk about quilting, but there's like 2 more rounds to go. I don't know how you talk about it. It's like 50% done, I want to say, for this quilt top, and then I'll have to make the quilt sandwich and quilt it. But I love how it's turning out. I'm so happy with the colors. I was so worried about the colors because it's my first quilt. I wasn't sure if like what was in my head would actually look good, but it does look really good. So I'm happy with that. So I've just been working on it during the evenings every now and then. So yeah, I think that's all my whips. Yeah. But let me show you what I got at the flea market. So at the flea market, again, there's like some vendors that sell vintage fabrics, and the larger, like the big pieces of vintage fabric can get really expensive because they're hand dyed, like indigo dyed fabrics. It could go up to like a big piece of indigo dyed linen would be like $100, $100 US. And for example, yesterday I saw this hand quilted coat that was at the sold as fabric, but it was hand quilted sashiko, hand sashiko quilted, hand dyed, hand indigo dyed. It was beautiful, but I asked him what the price was and it was like $800 US, and I was like, never mind. But yeah, so that kind of fabric can go get quite expensive. So, but they also have like fabric packs that you can buy, and it has the vintage fabric, but in a more affordable form. So this is like $10, 10 US. It's 1,000 yen. And so I got 2 of these, and then also they do like little rolls of fabric as well. And this was also 1,000 yen, which is about $10. So let me show you. So these are all vintage Japanese fabrics, and I'm planning on maybe like for these smaller pieces, I feel like they'd be great handkerchiefs. You use handkerchiefs a lot here because there are no paper towels available in the public restrooms, and the hand blow dryers are turned off due to the pandemic. So you always need a handkerchief. So like something like this, be a great handkerchief. So this is like, I don't know what kind of weave, dye stuff all this is, but I just know that they're all vintage Japanese. But I'm also planning on using all these for maybe like some kind of scrappy quilt, or you could use it to make pouches, like project bags. Like this one is really cool. They'd also make really good like bento bags because you know, here you take bentos, so it's always welcome. This one's just like a regular indigo dyed, like a linen cotton fabric. So, and then there's also these little packs. Yeah, so these mostly I'm planning on using for once I'm done with, oh, ignore that. Once I'm done with this quilt, planning on making like some kind of scrappier quilt. And these all come in like different tones of blue, which I think is really pretty. And then there's also like some patterned vintage fabrics here. And then there's like little tiny baby ones. But yeah, it's like cotton. And then most of these are indigo dyed, which is very cool. Do you want to see this one? I'll just show it to you. And then you could tell some of them are from like old clothing because it's been like mended. Just gonna show it to you quickly. Some like old yukata, or like not kimono but like cotton kimono fabric that they've cut up. Yeah, just like more indigo dyes. This is like a silk handkerchief. Might be nice for a handkerchief. Some more of that. Some patterned fabric. Yeah, so I'm planning on just collecting them all together. I'm doing like some kind of, not like a pattern, following a pattern kind of quilt, but like more so going with the flow kind of quilt. I don't know, that's what I have in my head, but we'll see how that works. But that's what I got at the flea market. And then at the Shotengai, at the little fabric shop, I got some double gauze fabric for the baby to make some like burp cloths and things like that. So I thought I'd show you real quick. First I got these little stripy double gauze. Thought they'd be good for like all around wiping spit, wiping wetness things, baby things, you know. I feel like you always need those. And then there's also these little duck print, little cat print, very cute. And then I also got this double gauze to make a burp cloth out of, like a big burp cloth. And then also this was on sale. It's just like a micro stripe double gauze linen thing. So yeah, that is like my big linen haul. I think I'm pretty set for quite a while, but yeah. Today I am dyeing yarn again, and hopefully I'm pretty tired from yesterday, so hopefully it won't take too long, but hopefully I'm just gonna finish dyeing yarn by maybe like 2 p.m. and then I can rest for the rest of the day because I'm pregnant and I'm tired. So yeah, that's the plan. And I will, let me show you one more thing that I got. One more thing. I also got these. Sorry for the crinkling. Sorry. Ugh, stuck. I also got, so in my stories I asked about whether people would be interested in vintage antique stitch markers, or like not antique stitch markers but antique glass leaf stitch markers. So That is this. So something like this. So this is antique Japanese glass, and I made it into a stitch marker. You can see that. I showed this last episode, but I did a story about it and people were really into it, and I definitely don't have enough to go around, like, for the people who are interested. So at the flea market I was looking around, and they also have like bead sellers and vintage vintage bead sellers there for like crafting and things like that. So I saw these and I thought they were so pretty. This is also, I'm not sure if it's glass or what, but these are also vintage Japanese. I think they're just beads that's been put into like a setting that's been set into a metal backing, and I think it's so pretty. Yeah, so I got a few of these. So I'll be making stitch markers out of these guys because, yeah, I really like them, but they're super, I was only able to get 4 of these because, yeah, they're antiques. So they're really limited, but yeah, I just love that. I love looking for vintage stuff and vintage Japanese things because I live in Japan, and so it's been really fun to like keep a lookout for things that could become stitch markers. But yeah, so that's it. That's actually it. So I'm gonna go get dyeing now. Oh, that sounded weird. I'm gonna go get dyeing yarn now. And I'll check in with you probably tomorrow with whatever I worked on today. So yeah, see you later. Hi everyone. Today is the 13th, so I wanted to do a little bit of a little update for you. I have not gotten too much done just because I'm busy working, and I get super tired after work, so I don't knit as much as I want to, but I did get some stuff done, so I wanted to show you. And also I signed up for another test knit, so I'm sure you're all wondering what will Mel cast on this week. So I'll tell you in a little bit, but first let me tell you about the whips. So since I last talked to you, I got a little more done on my baby quilt, so let me show you. It's getting there. I wasn't really sure like how big it was going to be, but it's a pretty decent size actually. So yeah, pretty excited about that. Did I talk about this? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. So that is going. So I've just been working on that during the evenings for like about an hour. And then, let me pull myself up. Okay, and then I also have started on the sleeves for the Loimu cardigan. And again, I do it 2 at a time, so sorry it's folded up funny. But yeah, I mean, it's just the sleeves. I've only done like about 1 inch and 2 centimeters or so. Yeah, that's literally it. And then so for the new cast ons, I haven't cast it on yet. I literally signed up for, or I applied for a couple nights ago, and then I got the email that I was accepted this morning, so I chose my yarn for it. It is the Grass Whispers, I think that's what it's called, the Grass Whispers pullover by Tetty of, I think Tetty Knits Garden, I believe is her handle. I'm sure I'll put the info here, and I'll also put the photo of what the pullover looks like. Yeah, I saw this and I loved the yoke and I loved the collar, and I looked at the deadline and it's March 20th, which is like right before I give birth. So I was like, yeah, I think I could do it. And it's a worsted weight sweater. It's a worsted weight sweater, so I can knit worsted weight sweaters pretty quickly, especially if they're top down sweaters. That's like my fastest type of garment knit. Cardigans take longer for me. Bottom up takes not as long, but top down pullovers definitely are like my speedy knits, especially if they're worsted weight. So just putting that out there. So it calls for worsted weight, and I had yarn in stash, which is what I was hoping for. I didn't really want to buy any more yarn. So I had this in my stash. This is Knit Picks wool worsted. This is the same yarn I used to make my Be Thankful cardigan. I'll put a picture of that up here. It's like let me see, I think it's yeah, it's 100% upcycled wool, and it's just this like classy beige color. It's like a little darker than, it's about the same as this. And then it also calls for a CC. So for a CC, I don't have any worsted weight yarns that could be a good contrast color for this. Well, I don't really knit with worsted weight. This is like the only one I have left. So I'm gonna hold fingering weight, help double, like I did for my Chalet Day sweater, which I'll put a photo up right here. So the CC is going to be in my own yarn. This is Big Little Yarn Co. Peruvian Highland. This is the old non-superwash base I had back when I was still in the US. This is my, what did I call this? Oh, sorry. Turn off. What did I used to call this? I don't even remember now. It's the Peruvian Highland wool fingering weight non-superwash yarn. Sorry, I'm blanking. In the colorway Rust. This was an oopsie skein, so I have like some little flecks of unwanted color, which is why I took it. I used this along with Lichen and Lagoon to make my emery shawl, which I'll put a photo up here, way back when, and I still have a ton left, so I thought it would go really nicely together. It has like kind of similar vibes to this sweater, but like the other way around. So yeah, I'm gonna cast this on tonight. Yeah, I was thinking, I was kind of thinking I wasn't going to cast on, like actually, I was actually like, wow, I feel really good about not casting on this week. And then I saw the test knit call and I was like, I gotta. And then I mean, I was kind of like, if I don't get it, then great. But if I do get it, then also like super great. So I did get in. So I'll be working on that as well. And this one is due March 13th. So I'll be knitting on this a lot more, obviously, especially because it's a cardigan. It does take me a little longer. And I am at the sleeves, which always makes it like, I feel like always takes me like a week to do for some reason. Yeah, sleeves are a slog for me. So yeah, I'm just gonna cast this on tonight. This will be a cast on party for this little project, and then I'll go back to the Loimu so that I could finish it before the deadline. So I got it handled. Yeah. Also, I wanted to show you some of the colorways that will be coming in for the shop update. I know I showed you a couple of them last time, but let me show you those one more time. I think I only have 2 more. Yeah, 2 more colors. 2 more? 3 more? 4 more? Let me just show it to you. Oh, sorry. Bumped you. Okay. Got it. So I still have some more that I'm dyeing up this week, but I wanted to show it to you. So last week I showed you these. This is wisteria. So this is all my hand-dyed yarns. Wisteria and eucalyptus. I really want another sweater quantity of this and this. This is a new tonal that I'm bringing into the shop just for this update. So wisteria, eucalyptus, and the rest of these, oh no, a few of these are from last year's Hanami collection. Hanami means flower viewing in Japanese, so this was my springtime collection. This is Hanami, so flower viewing. It's got like little soft spots of pink and some speckles. It's a really nice, delicate colorway. And then sakura. After the sakura trees, cherry blossom trees here in Japan. And then this is azalea. It's a really fun color. It's got like golden yellows, purples, lavender, and then also strawberry jam. Strawberry jam's probably the oldest colorway that I'm bringing into the shop. I've had this color ever since I've started the shop. It's been super popular ever since then. It's like a classic strawberry jam color. But yeah, I wanted to show you these, and I have a few more things coming up, so I'll probably show you those as well. But these will all be available February 27th, 10 a.m. Japan Standard Time, which is February 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is February 26th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're interested in seeing all of the colors, I do send out a newsletter every time before each update with links to every single listing so that you can just click on it and check out super quick. I'm really limited on quantities this time around because I am very pregnant and I get really tired really easily, so I can't dye up as much as I used to. So I do highly recommend signing up for the newsletter, or at least maybe following me on Instagram so that you can get the notification. I do have like those little like alarm notification things you can do. So just letting you know. But I'm really excited about bringing these all back into the shop for one last time before I take off for maternity leave. So that is it for today. Tomorrow I'll show you my new cast on. Hopefully I get at least like a little bit of the neck done. So yeah, I will catch up with you later. everyone. So this is gonna be my little outro for this episode. I think this episode's probably pretty short because I wasn't really doing much this week other than working. So yeah, I hope it wasn't boring or anything. I feel like I didn't knit as much as I usually do, but that's okay, happens. So I just wanted to catch you up with the whips that I worked on this week. I'm not going to show all my whips because I only worked on 2 whips, my 2 test knits pretty much exclusively, and also my sock tube, and also my quilt. So let me show you those real quick. So here's where I'm at with the Loimu cardigan. I feel like it doesn't look like much because it's just sleeves, but it's going. I always feel like sleeves take forever to do, and I feel like they take twice as long if I do them one at a time, but I feel like still 2 at a time is still takes a while. But this is going. I need to do 4 more sets of decreases. I did 1 here. I'm gonna do another one soon, and then 3 more after that, and then I think the sleeves, I usually only knit the sleeves up to the decreases, and then it's usually long enough for me to start the cuff because my arms are pretty short. So it's going, it's almost halfway there, but I'm trying to chug away at this because I really do want to wear it. It feels really cozy and warm, and it's really cold right now, so it'd be nice to wear right now, but I really want to be able to, have a chance to wear this before it gets warmer. And I feel like I will because the test knitting deadline is in early March, so that is going. And then also the thing that I've been working on is my new test knit for Teti of Teti's Knit Garden. This is the wintergrass pullover. So I've started the yoke, color work. It's been coming along. I love the collar. So you could see that there's some 1x1 cabling here, and then I really love this ridge that she put into the pattern. Just show you. I don't know if you could really see it, but yeah, and I love how the cables also are in between the color work. So for this yoke, I didn't get too far into it because I had to redo it kind of maybe like 1.5 times ish. So if you see the spaces in between each color work section, this is about maybe 11 stitches, and sometimes it gets to the point where after you do yoke increases, there's spaces in between get to like 13 stitches. So it's quite a distance between the 2 contrast color stitches. Usually, if you're not familiar with like Fair Isle knitting or colorwork knitting, you usually catch the floats in the back so that there's not one long strand of CC yarn in the back. So the first time I tried knitting this yoke, I was catching floats like I would usually do. I usually catch floats between 5 to 6 stitches. No, maybe 4 to 5 stitches, yeah. So every 4 to 5 stitches, if I'm still not at a color work stitch, I usually catch the float in the back. And there's a ton of tutorials on how to catch floats. I'm not really gonna go into it because I'm really bad at explaining things, but there's a ton of tutorials online on how to catch your floats in the back. So I was doing that the usual way. The thing is that since there are it's not just stockinette in between. Usually the catching the floats works because it's just stockinette in the front. For Fair Isle knitting, it's not usually textured or anything, so there's no cables and pearls like how there is here. And so usually when you catch a float, that contrast color that's caught in the back doesn't show from the front of the work. But because there is textures here, when I caught the float, like I usually do, I looked at the front, and you could totally see like where, no matter where I put the float, like no matter which stitch I caught the float on, you were able to see it from the front, if that makes sense. So yeah, I didn't want to have 11 stitches worth of contrast color just floating in the back. It was getting so like my fingers were getting caught as I was knitting it, like because the floats were so long. So and since, yeah, like I just didn't really know what to do, and I was like, there's gotta be a way to trap the floats even if there's texture in the front. So I was doing a lot of research because I was like, this is not the first time that it's like, I'm sure somebody has figured something out on the internet, you know. So I started doing these. So I forget the name of the method this is, but I will put a link to the tutorial, like the blog post tutorial I found online. But what you do is you pretty much, like, you kind of treat it like it's a dropped stitch. So you use a crochet hook to catch the ladders up as you go, and then I'm using a stitch marker to hold on to that stitch while I continuing it, and then I just kind of catch I ladder up, I guess you could call it, every 3 rows. And then there's also, I haven't gotten to this part yet, but it also shows you how to properly secure this last stitch onto your knitting once you're done with the color work portion. So I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But yeah, this has helped a ton. So if you, like me, are struggling with super long floats that you can't catch because the front is textured, I totally recommend this tutorial. Yeah, I'll put the link down below, and I'll put the name of what this method is called. I did kind of modify it where they recommend knitting with the CC even if it's a main color stitch, so that you know that the float is long enough to be able to be caught like this. Because what you have to be really careful when there's long floats is that there's enough give so that the sweater can properly stretch. It's not too tight. I kind of skipped that part because it just seemed like a lot of work to have to, because then you have to drop all those stitches and then pick back all the stitches up with your main color, and I was just not gonna do that. So I skipped the first like 2 steps. I guess I could put that in the description box which steps I skipped, but I did pretty much like the step where you do the laddering up method. Yeah, I just made sure when I am when I'm knitting the next color work knit between a big gap, that I have more than enough, not more than enough, but like enough slack in the float that I know that I can ladder it up and it won't be too tight, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, so now that I figured that out, it's going really smoothly, but it did take a little while to figure out what I wanted to do to trap all those long floats, because yeah, 11, I feel like 7-8 stitches is doable, I guess. Like if I couldn't catch those floats, I'd be okay with it, but 11 to 13 was a lot, and I knew if my fingers were getting caught while I was knitting this, things are totally gonna get caught while I was wearing it, so I was really worried about it. But I'm glad I found this method, because it does trap them really nicely, and I don't have to worry about it showing in the front. So yeah, that's a little tip right there from me to you. If you know of any other types of float catching techniques, let me know, because now I just know how to do the regular way and then this way. So if you know of a better way, please let me know. So there's that. And I've also been working on my socks quite a bit, because I was out. I think maybe you would have seen some clips. But here's my sock tube so far. Very fun. It's just a tube. And I think I have maybe like 2 more like color repeats to go before I finish. I'm like really close to finishing. So yeah, that's it. That's nothing much to talk about there, but getting to the finish line. And then I wanted to show you how my quilt's going. So I'm almost done with the quilt top. Let me get up and show you. This is how it looks right now. It's a bit difficult to show. Hopefully you can see it. I love how the colors turned out. Yeah, I'm so glad that the colors worked out okay, because I had no idea how to choose colors for quilts, but I did a pretty good job. So I'm almost done. I have like one more like round of blocks to go, like one more round of quilt squares to go. Sorry, I have no idea. Quilt terminology escapes me still. So I'm almost done with the quilt top. I was thinking about buying fabric for the backing, like regular backing fabric, but I was looking stuff up online, couldn't really find anything that I wanted to put in the back, because I wanted it to be not too cutesy. I don't know, I'm not really like a cutesy person, so I didn't want to put like regular like child friendly patterns on it, because also I have to make this, I don't know, I like making things that I also like. So I'm not sure, and also I'm not sure if does he like animals or does he like trains? I don't know, I have no idea what he likes, so thought I should choose something that is like pretty interest neutral. So if you remember from last episode that I got a bunch of these vintage fabric scraps from the flea market in Kyoto, I decided that I'm going to use those to make a scrappy back as well. So I guess the back is also kind of quilted-ish. Does that count? So I have a bunch of like these randomly shaped scraps, and then I also have scraps from the quilt top as well, and they all happen to be in like a similar color family. They're all like in the blues, so I thought that it would be nice to just use up these scraps, because I wouldn't really know what to do with like these oddly shaped bits anyways. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes. And the back isn't gonna be so super large, because it is just a quilt size, I mean not a quilt size, crib size quilt. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but I'm gonna finish the quilt top first, and then I'll work on the back, then I'll quilt it. And I'm probably gonna hand quilt it using Sachiko thread, so that'll be fun. But yeah, that's it. Not as much as I usually do. I feel like I've been stitching on, or I've been working on some of my other whips as well, but it's only been like a row or two here and there, so nothing really to report on. But I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope it wasn't too boring, because I feel like I didn't really do much. But yeah, let me know how you're doing, what you're working on while you're watching this, if you are working on anything. And I hope you're staying warm if it's winter for you, or staying cool if it's summer for you. Sorry, I keep saying but yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time. Bye.